We recently saw Shigaraki go plus ultra decay and begin to destroy an entire city, disintegrating everything and everyone in his path. He now basically has the power of a god. Call him Apocalypse. And right now, there may not be a hero alive that can defeat him. But what about the dearly deceased? Today we're going to take a look at all the heroes who are no longer with us that could have potentially defeated Shigaraki, or at least stood toe-to-toe with him in the ring. I mean, all bets are off with this guy. This list of dead heroes will contain none of the vestiges of One for All, even though thick girl Shimura Nana with her float quirk would really help against All for Sun. Instead, I'd like to focus only on characters that have appeared alive in the series, not just in flashbacks, and then later died. Number 10. Snatch. Sajin Higawara, also known as the Sand Hero, was briefly shown at the end of the Chisaki saga where the League of Villains ambushed the villain transport and stole Chisaki's quirk nullifying bullets. Snatch valiantly defends the police officers from Shigaraki and even says his sand quirk is completely immune to Shigaraki's decaying touch. Fortunately for Shigaraki, Dabi and Mr. Compressed team up with fire and magic to turn Snatch into a mini glass figurine and end his life. If Snatch survived this battle, he'd be a real problem for Shigaraki because he could not only stand on the ground that Shigaraki is decaying and resist Shigaraki's touch with his sand, but he could also help fellow heroes do the same thing. I hope his memory haunts you, Dabi. Number 9. Best Jeanist. Best Jeanist is a hero who is presumed to be dead. We see him inside a duffel bag that Hawks delivers to Dabi. Now, unless this is some elaborate plan, which at this point given everything that's happened in the manga I doubt it, the stylish hero is gone. If Best Jeanist were alive, he could control Shigaraki by his clothing fibers and use his abilities to pull his fellow heroes to safety from Shigaraki's attacks, as we saw when he protected people from All for One. Kinda reminds me of the Vato fight in Black Clover. Also, we wouldn't have to worry about Shigaraki wanting his quirk since All for One said Shigaraki favors raw strength and power over quirks that are tactical and need practice to use. So, yeah, thanks Hawks. Still don't know what happened between you, Dabi, the government giving you permission to do this, and Best Jeanist. Honestly, I just want Best Jeanist back so I can get a haircut. Number 8. Hawks. Hawks is technically still alive, but he may die. Even if he doesn't, due to his injuries and burns on his back, he may be indisposed and unable to be a hero ever again. It's a little hard to fly with burnt wings. I guess he finally knows the pain of Icarus. Hawks, at least for the time being, can no longer fly or be airborne against Shigaraki. This could have really helped as he can carry other heroes and use his feathers as blades offensively against Shigaraki. And while we're on the topic of indisposed heroes, Mirio could have really helped in this regard. Being able to phase through matter and disappear under the ground that is decaying would have been in my mind the ultimate counter against Shigaraki. He can't decay what he can't touch. Number 7. Sir Nighteye. Now I won't pretend that Sir Nighteye wouldn't just absolutely get bodied by Shigaraki's decay, as most heroes would. However, Sir Nighteye using his powers on Shigaraki's associates like Dabi and Toga would be invaluable for the heroes. At their current state, the heroes might not be able to face Shigaraki, but they could at least see his future movements through the League of Villains and prepare for where Shigaraki will attack next. We could also use Sir Nightaye's knowledge to predict the movements and capture members of the League of Villains. I think one of the things that makes Shigaraki so dangerous as a villain is that he has friends in the League of Villains and Paranormal Liberation Front ready to back him up.
You will never win.
And why is that?
Because you are alone.
Shigaraki, unlike Apocalypse, has allies like Gigantomachia who are willing to do absolutely anything for their leader, their king of evil. Before we continue, a message from this video's sponsor, Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes for creative and curious people. Explore new skills, deepen your talents, and get lost in your creativity. The first 1,000 of my subscribers who click the link in the description will get a 2-month free trial of premium membership so you can explore your unlimited passions. Like everyone lately, I've been stuck in quarantine and have a lot of downtime, which makes me quite anxious. Luckily, Skillshare can help settle your mind. If you're like me, you can explore classes that may help you express what you're feeling through creative self-discovery and care. Instead of succumbing to my boredom, I've been keeping myself occupied by leveling up my video editing and filmmaking abilities. The Creating a Modern Cinematic Documentary with Soul class is a great introduction and deep dive into the world of documentary filmmaking. Don Don Liu teaches not only the basics, but also the importance of pre-planning when making a film. I found the shot list section of the class particularly interesting because all the B-roll footage and cinematic shots of Japan that look random don't just happen. You really have to plan everything out. But hey, not everyone's a videography nerd like me, and that's okay. Skillshare has something for everyone. Language, photography, design, drawing, and actually a lot of anime and manga drawing classes for all you fellow weeaboos. Even botanical illustration, if that's your thing. And they're constantly launching new premium classes to satisfy your hunger for learning. Although I couldn't find any classes on how to be a pro hero, they pretty much have everything else covered. And unlike this video, Skillshare has no ads, so it's just learning and it's just for you. To be honest with you guys, I've had a pretty rough time with anxiety and even being motivated to create content during this quarantine. And that's why I'm really thankful that I found Skillshare. It's kind of renewed my hope that I can come out of this ordeal with a sense that I've progressed and maintained my creative drive, even if it's with something other than YouTube. So join this community of curious, passionate people. Click the link in the description to get a 2-month free trial of Skillshare Premium membership, and you can start learning today. Numbers 6, 5, and 4. Xless, Pixie Bob, and 13. Coming in at our 6th, 5th, and 4th spots on this list are all the major pro heroes who are presumed to be dead at the end of chapter 272. Xless was closest to Shigaraki's decay, and it looks like Shigaraki even stole his cape for added insult to injury. Both Pixie Bob and 13 turned back towards the advancing decay wave in a feeble attempt to slow it down, and judging by Tiger's reaction, his fellow Wild Wild Pussycat member didn't make it out alive. As for 13, if we look very closely, we can see part of her hand and arm starting to decay. In the end, it looks like duct tape can't save every mission to space. All 3 of these heroes have incredible ranged attacks that would give any villain, let alone Shigaraki, a lot of trouble, and the heroes will truly miss their abilities. Xless, who is based on Cyclops from the X-Men, wreaked havoc on the Nomu inside the basement of Jaku Hospital with his eye laser. Xless firing laser beams at Shigaraki from a safe distance would have been clutch in a situation where people can't even get near him. Unfortunately, just like Alex, he was closest to the destruction and didn't even have a chance to turn and run from Shigaraki. Wow, Horikoshi really loves his X-Men. Pixie Bob is even more valuable to this cause as her abilities are twofold. Her Earthflow quirk could have not only launched attacks and golems at Shigaraki as seen in the Forest Training Camp arc, but it's possible this quirk could have been used to disturb the ground and limit Shigaraki's decay waves, which would have given close-range heroes a better chance. Again, this is mostly conjecture, especially since she did turn back to stop the decay wave and was not successful. Still, an army of angry rock creatures and the ability to make the very ground your plaything made Pixie Bob a formidable foe, who will unfortunately never see against the King of Evil. She'll never get to meet a nice guy, get married, settle down, and have little kittens of her own. Dang. Lastly is the Rescue Hero 13, who was unfortunately put out of her element when this mission changed its focus to combat and just staying alive. With her black hole quirk, she could have used it to suck in and rip apart Shigaraki from far away, which yes, she would have needed to do this with caution, but this is just another great long-range skill against our new villain Overlord. Maybe she could have even used her own quirk to absorb Shigaraki's decay wave and particles. Again, it's unclear how Shigaraki's decay wave moves through substances, and maybe this would have caused her to decay. After all, she did begin to decay herself when she turned back towards the wave, but the ability to absorb anything in a black hole would have been welcomed by the heroes. 13 could have also played a role in cleaning up and rescuing people after Shigaraki's decay had stopped, assuming it will at this point. Having heroes who are pros at rescue is never a bad thing. Number 3. Crust. I know, he's not that great, but how can I refuse to put this good chivalrous boy on the list? Crust is the man, the chivalrous man, and he's the reason Aizawa Sensei is even alive right now, which, believe me, we're gonna need Aizawa's erasure quirk if the heroes plan to fight all these villains in Shigaraki. Crust clearly can't do much against Shigaraki's decay wave, but he could help protect the heroes from other villains and go on the offensive with his shields. I just miss our shield hero Naofumi, man. Number 2, Oboro Shirakumo. This one may be a bit controversial on this list since Oboro Shirakumo may not be dead and instead semi-conscious within Kurogiri, but Cloud Boy would be very valuable to the heroes. Oboro Shirakumo with his quirk Cloud could float people out of danger and could allow for other heroes without the ability to levitate or fly engage Shigaraki. Also, if the heroes somehow find a way to recover Oboro Shirakumo, they could also get Kurogiri. Kurogiri would perhaps be the greatest asset to the heroes as he can teleport people and heroes to safety, possibly restrain Shigaraki inside his portals, and of course make for some epic moves on the battlefield. Kurogiri teleporting people in and out of Shigaraki's vicinity would allow for any quirk to be safely used against the ultimate villain. And again, it's like the Vato fight where Vanessa and Finral teamed up to teleport Asta to victory. Number 1. Previous villains. This is yet another controversial entry on the list, but actually is very plausible given the fact that All Might said he'd be visiting Tartarus soon. Yes, technically they are not heroes, and they're not even dead, but we have many potential heroes among these baddies, especially Gentle, who has always wanted to be a hero. Gentle's elasticity quirk would be an amazing safeguard in the air for the heroes against Shigaraki, and who knows how a rubbery ground would interact with his decay. Although Chisaki might not have arms, it was hinted at in the Ultra Analysis book that his quirk still works, so perhaps Chisaki could use some fancy footwork to repair and reassemble the land to counter Shigaraki's decay. Also, if there's one person that hates Shigaraki and the League of Villains and would do anything to see him defeated, even if it means certain death, it's Chisaki. I mean, what else does he have to lose at this point? His toes? Perhaps the most interesting out of the villains is Stain. All Might recently discussed that he had to postpone a meeting at Tartarus with the imprisoned hero killer. Stain was never against true heroes like All Might and would want to see someone like Shigaraki fall. Something, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. How Stain would actually help against Shigaraki is up in the air since he wouldn't be, but it would be amazing to see the hero killer come back and even get a little redemption arc. But what do you guys think? If you could pick just 3 heroes or villains that are no longer with us and bring them back to face Shigaraki, who would you choose? Let me know down below in the comments. I'm going Best Jeanist, Shirakumo, and Snatch. Good mix of fighters right there. As always, thanks for watching, and thanks for the support lately. I've needed it. If you like My Hero Academia content, be sure to enroll at UA today by subscribing, and join Skillshare to become a creative hero. Until next time, plus ultra.